racism and vitriol come out towards Barack Obama. And he was successful. In spite of all that, he was still successful and elected. But that racist element still reared its head, did not go away. It was, I mean, those that probably make up the alt right now were probably in grade school, and so what we've seen is we've seen the old wounds of racism open themselves back up.
Right.
And I mean, it's just, unfortunately, you don't heal racism by sweeping it under the rug, acting like it did not exist.
Right.
And just saying, hey, we're not doing that anymore. We're not lynching black people anymore. We're not killing black people anymore. We're not enslaving black people anymore. So therefore, racism no longer exists. No, that's not the case. We've seen a tremendous amount of police shootings, police violence, mass incarceration, drugs, alcohol. I mean, everything that's kind of negative
Right.
still affect our communities.
Absolutely.
And then the incarceration rate tremendously increases, and then with the effect of private prisons. I mean, so there are a ton of repercussions that our community face because we have not effectively dealt with the root cause of these issues, which is systematic racism.
Yeah. And it's a new lynching. The new lynching, like what, the police shootings.
Yes, sir.
And the pushing the drugs in our community and everything, mass incarceration, as you said, it's taking on a new form.
Right.
But it's still the same effect.
Still the same effect, because almost going back to the convict leasing program, where we talk about the 14th Amendment, where slavery is outlawed, except if you're convicted of a crime.
Free labor.
Oh man, free labor, which is almost the root cause of capitalism.
Right.
I mean, when you look at America and how America became an economic superpower, think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got free labor. You're trying to produce a product, and then you're taking that product to the marketplace to sell it at retail for the highest possible profit.
Right.
So most business models, I mean, you look at any business model, most expenses come from labor costs.
Right.
So if you have a business model where you've got free labor costs, oh man.
You miles ahead, everybody.
Yes, sir.
You miles ahead.
Yes, sir.
And folks are blind or naive and say, well, the actions of those, it's not America. But they said, that's the fabric of America.
It is the fabric of America. It's a brutal truth that a lot of people, once again, we just want to sweep it under the rug. We don't want to push it aside. We want to move past it without dealing with it.
Absolute. Now, as we mentioned before, there's this push to remove the monuments, and I saw somebody posted something. Well, why are you doing it now?
Yeah, we're getting all kind of crazy stuff.
I mean, why not?
Right.
We are in a position now to make sure that those things are taken down and not influence or intimidate our community. And
let me speak to why now and why not then. Because unfortunately, protesting or voicing our opinions against such symbols probably would have gotten our communities burned down. We'd have been lynched. We would have been shot with impunity. I mean, somebody could have acted violently, and we still see it today. But we saw mob violence. And
cities burnt,
various communities burnt to the ground. So I wish you would take down the monument. So black people were afraid. Black people were scared. Black people were intimidated to speak to what they felt was unjust. We just kind of sucked it up and we moved forward. But now you got a whole generation of people that are completely unafraid.
Right. It's a new day.
It's a new day.
And and it's interesting that even Robert E. Lee said he does not want monuments portraying Confederacy, because the quote he said in 1869, but even if we were able to attend, there was a ceremony going on, they wanted him to come. He added, he thought it wiser not to keep open the sores of war, but to follow the examples of those nations who endeavored to that were obliterate the marks of civil strife, to commit to oblivion the feelings engendered. So even he said,
yeah, it was the rules of war.
Right.
I mean, Robert E. Lee was a wise general, a respected combat, soldier.
Right.
But he understood if we lost.
Right.
So that means when you lose, you got to give up your stuff.
Right.
You got to give up your flag.
Right.
You got to give up your ideology. You've got to give up your government.
Right.
What people don't understand is the Confederacy, the United States of the Confederacy, was a separate government.
Right. Right. It was like Russia.
Right. It was a Confederate government. It was a separate government from the United States of America. And so they had the Articles of Confederation. Every state had their laws of secession. And so what many people unfortunately fail to realize with history is that you had an insurgent government within the United States of America. So I find it impossible for a person to really call themselves a patriotic American and support the ideology of the Confederacy.
Right. It makes no sense. And it shows that, they try to hold that word patriot. But it shows that you're unpatriotic.
Unpatriotic.
Hold on to that. And it the stance that Governor Ducey's taken, that he wants to he doesn't have the power. It shows that he has no backbone.
It's a cop out.
Yeah, he has no backbone.
Yeah.
And other states, other governments in cities in Baltimore, New Orleans, you have, like I said, Tampa Bay, even the sports teams.
Right.
I would like to see the sports teams here do something positive.
Oh yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Money to have the removal of those.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah,
The Phoenix, calling out the Phoenix Suns, calling out the
Cardinals,
Cardinals, the Coyotes.
The Coyotes.
Yeah, calling them out, calling y'all out.
So
do
if Tampa can do it,
right?
Why can't they?
Right, we got the money.
Yeah, they definitely have the money.
We got the money.
They got the money, but it shows that one, they don't have backbone.
Well, Governor Ducey has said he wants to hear from the public and the public participation. And there was unfortunate vandalism. We don't advocate any vandalism. We didn't advocate for anybody to take matters into their own hands.
Right.
However, I feel like Governor Ducey's lack of response and lack of a definitive position forced people's hands, and people want to be heard. So therefore, the marker of Thomas Jefferson was defaced, tarred and feathered, and I believe they said it's beyond repair. So
the reason for it to be removed. Yeah.
It definitely probably has to be removed. Given that we don't want to see removal through those means.
Right.
But I believe the constituency, Governor Ducey, your constituency is speaking.
That's right, and he's got to listen.
Right, he's got to listen.
This is the Alvin Galloway Show. We'll be back with Mr. Tatum after these messages.